And we ended up at Marine Land, Marine World, Marine Land. And I think that's where Flipper, the original Flipper, was. That may be he. Great place for the kids to look. There's a sea turtle. When Val and I and Brad and Doug, the other kids were older, stayed here in Connecticut. We went to Florida. It was a great event to see the sea turtles come up and lay their eggs. They did it at night. We would go down at 10 or 11 o'clock at night and sit until 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning until the turtles came out of the water. Weird, dark, watch these big things come out. Had to be quiet, no lights. Watch them, and they would come up to a point where they would dig a hole and start laying their eggs. And then you could turn on a light and go over and watch and walk around them and see them lay their eggs. This was in Marine Land. They had the porpoises and a killer whale do tricks. And I saw no sense in just taking pictures of the water, and this gets hysterical because I just took the fish jumping out of the water and landing. Here's the killer whale. They're unique because they're white and black. Here we go, jumping up and down. I thought I was wasting a lot of film just taking it before they would jump. So I didn't. I just took it when they came out of the water. Very frugal I am. Also rather stupid. This in Disney Land, of course, was the height of the trip for the kids. Now we're back in Connecticut, and in fact, I believe we're in, we're up at Colonial Drive. Val didn't want me to take pictures of the clothesline. There's Brad. He was a dancer when he was a child. Gene wanted to learn how to play drums. I bought him a pad, but he wanted drums. He couldn't learn on a pad. So he learned when he was an adult. John Lawler. We won't talk about him. This is in our family room I had built onto the house. It's something like 24 by 18 room. Well, with 6 kids we need in it. This is the front yard. Where we're going, I have no idea yet. Well, Val's going away. Oh, Dante Toni, a distant cousin of Val's, Italian. He went to South America, Venezuela, and stayed in the capital. Came up here to learn English because he owned a bookstore and he needed to talk English to a lot of people. This is Nogda, of course, where Val was brought up on High Street, so she knew all the people. They went in the backyard to take pictures. This was the new bridge across the Nogda River, and Route 8 was built. So that'll give you an idea when it was, if you can look up what year that was. It was in the 60s. Only 64 or 5. That's my darling. There she is. This is a trip we took Dante, Toni on up to the Thames River, up to New London, to see the submarines. This was a rest area, a picnic area right across from Troop F 95. I don't think it's a rest. I think it's just a rest area now. Westbrook Barracks, I believe. This is on the Thames, and that's the good ship Eagle, confiscated from Nazi Germans after the war, Second World War, and believed it was Göring's boat, maybe Hitler's. They cleaned it up and brought it over to the United States, and the Coast Guard midshipmen learned their sailing on it. They take a summer cruise, I'm sure, or they used to, go all over the world. When we had our 34-foot boat in the 70s, we were coming from Block Island back to Milford, where we used to dock our boat, and it was foggier in the dickens coming out of from Block Island into Long Island Sound. Couldn't see in front of you. This is Lake Shore. Skiing with our boat. Out of the fog came that ship. We were all alone, and that ship came out of the fog. I thought I was back in the 16th century, 17th century. Those big white sails. We circled her, and the ship was all up in the rigging, fixing the sails. Square rigger. That's one of the boys, probably Bruce. We used to go to Candlewood Lake every weekend when we had the boat in the summer. When we had that boat, it was 19 foot long, inboard, outboard. Aunt Diane Renzoni, she lived with us for a couple of years after her mother married the second time. And there's Dante, Toni again. He came up on weekends from New York, where he was learning to speak English at his college or school there. Yours truly. Dante took a huge number of pictures. We have some of them, somewhere. When Brad was born, we used to put him under the forecastle there, up under the front of the boat, on top of life preservers, and he'd sleep while they were skiing. What a pounding. What a good kid to sleep in it. This was a typical weekend of going in the boat. The person who is carrying that little boy, I haven't the least idea who she is. Probably a friend of Diane's. This is Route 84 on the way to Danbury to Candlewood Lake. Anchor Marina was where I had the privilege of putting in our boat at the ramp after paying our yearly fee, which made it kind of easy. And then when school was out, we didn't go on weekends because weekends were really crazy on that lake. So many boats. There's Handsome Bruce and Wayne. And there's Brad with his life preserver on. And it's probably Gene, one skiing it. He quickly learned to be a skier, and Bruce was better after he watched Gene. That was a friend of Diane's. Now back to the launch ramp, pull it out, and goodbye to Anchor Marina, and get on Route 84 and go back to Prospect. Of course, Route 84 wasn't completed then. You couldn't go any further than Waterbury because they didn't have the what is now known as a Mixmaster, that bridge over the river. You used to have to get off, go into Naugatuck, and come up Route 68. The back porch of our home in 20 Colonial Drive was Brad and Pat. Val's clothesline before we put the pool in. We had a 20-foot, 24-foot, or 20-something feet long with a diving board in the pool. It was I put in afterwards. After Doug was born, Doug had the asthma, so he stopped traveling because he would be sick all the time in the woods. Neighbor, Ann Raven, and what ended up a friend of Brad's, Matthew Raven, and we all went to Cape Cod. Where else? There's Wayne and Brad. Wayne and Brad in the sand. The Ravens lived on Colonial Drive. I'm in the middle of saving here and listen. Okay? Yeah, thanks. The Ravens were good friends, and we both went up to the Cape together, and this is Salt Pond. No longer go down there because of the national park come in that's owned by it, and they don't allow swimming anymore, I don't believe. They do have clam beds in there. Brad, and that's Kim Raven. She's a big lady, has her own children. There's Patty, James. Oh, this is Miss Raven, John Raven's car, a little car, and we put all the kids in. Kim, the last one out, she fell out of the pop-up when she was sleeping in the Ravens. Poor kid. There's our famous air mattresses.